Could we see a Kalosian Emboar in Pokemon Legends ZA? What would a Kalosian Emboar even look like? This is a wild-looking, on all fours, ground fire Emboar who, by the end of the video, I am sure will make a lot more sense. But let's first look at Tepig. Tepig is an interesting choice for a starter, isn't it? It's the odd one out, considering our other two starter Pokemon are Johto starters that have now appeared in Kalos. But Tepig being a pig Pokemon might be great for Kalos, considering its love for food and other ties to pigs. On the website, we see how Tepig is characterized. A ravenous glutton, Tepig uses its excellent sense of smell to find food. It loves to roast and eat berries, but sometimes it gets too excited and burns them to a crisp, rendering them inedible. Springing around while launching fireballs, Tepig is nimbler than it looks. It uses its speed to confound enemies, dodging their attacks with agility and rapidly launching fireballs from both nostrils. When it catches a cold, its fire becomes pitch black smoke instead. Personally, I was never a big Tepig fan when it released, but I'm really warming up to this guy as days go by. I've also really loved his cry, and he always just looks smiley and happy, and I'm sure his Kalosian form would be similar. He could also have wilder fur tufts almost, looking like smoke or a chef's hat, or other imagery, who loves to make food using its flames. The popular French cooking style, like flambe, utilizes pouring alcohol and creating a great big flame to rise up from the pan. Emboar already incorporates similar flames off its body in its design, sprouting off in different directions like a Y shape. Hey guys, did you know that even the Unova starters are designed on X and Y shapes? I wanted to incorporate these flames, but also have them united more in like a scarf way, similar to the flames flying off the pan. I also gave into the wish of wanting to see it on all fours because I wanted it to appear more like the wild boars of France. These guys are obviously pretty gnarly, some even have their own little tiny tusks protruding out. Emboar also has tusks of some kind, or teeth. It really reminds me of Jinbei from One Piece. He's like teeth out of there. But yeah, I'd love to see Kalosian Emboar, maybe with different wild aspects, even in that. Maybe having a little bit more elongated ones or curved ones as well. Like, we can also see elongated aspects like fur, like we said, but also with a longer tail. And making it more pig-like again with, you know, Tepig has its cute little spiral tail, and then here it brings it back. I thought about making it more boar-like with the tuft of fur at the end, but I also liked the silly idea of making it tie back to like being the little chef hat frill thing for the end of turkey legs that dates back to the 17th century. That's kind of a nod again to the culinary experience that Emboar can bring in Kalos. The last big part of the form is going to be the typing. I wanted to create a ground fire typing for this Pokemon, and I want it to be known for having its strong arms and strong sense of smell for berry hunting. The Pokemon equivalent of truffle hunting. Truffles are highly sought after, but they are in the ground, and people have probably already heard of how pigs are used for truffle hunting thanks to their very strong sense of smell. This is very French. It's a great tie for Emboar to be our beloved French counterpart in Kalos, and apparently, though, these pigs aren't used as much anymore in place of dogs because the pigs could sometimes end up eating the truffles they find, which is pretty funny, and I'd love to incorporate that into this too, especially with Tepig already being called a ravenous glutton. I can only imagine how much worse it gets through evolution. I also wanted to use the yellow marking parts of Emboar's design to incorporate them in a different way as well. Following the wild boar idea, I wanted to make them go along the body and almost mimic the stripes that many young boar creatures have. Although this is for camouflage and the babies don't have it for a long time, I think it'd be, again, just another nod to the real-life thing. And it would certainly be good to fill that space of that big body. He's probably built like a train. My drawings probably don't do it justice, but it was kind of hard putting this thing in all fours. I mean, his build is something else. And so, the form is less intimidating or bulkier like Emboar, but in a way, maybe it's also good to have that, so it can be even more nimbler and able to charge a lot more. I think that having it, you know, Tepig was referenced having some speed already, it being like nimble and quick. And then I think as it goes on, maybe it can again get more wild, but then also get better at charging. Having those flames and stuff, really amping it up too, and adding to its speed and stuff would be cool. I think that it would be a cool attacker, and, you know, the whole idea of it wanting to keep the food it has found, or stuff like that, is part of the fun of the design and stuff, and the idea. I'm sure maybe a good trainer would have to keep that thing in line and stuff to go against its urge to eat whatever it finds, let's say. And I think with it being a ground type, utilizing those big strong arms are important, and it can use those arms to do a lot of like attacks that probably involve, you know, maybe things with like, again, messing with the ground or throwing things up, because again, he's already really good at digging. I guess we already have a digger Pokemon in Diggersby, but hey, let's just operate with that thing not existing, because that's how I normally just operate anyway. Not thinking about that guy. But yeah, this is the idea that has come along. On the idea, again, of a different regional form thing for the middle stage, I think it would be pretty cool to see. And just for the fun of it and going back into it, I also did something that looks kind of like a middle stage of Pignite, where it shows itself as well as, you know, this charge Pokemon he's starting to get on all fours and stuff like that. I think it would be really fun that way. I really am curious if you're going to choose Tepig and why, or why you might love Tepig, or if you had your own ideas for a design, let's say, or anything else. I know that we still have to do Meganium, and I have that cooked up and we're gonna see it, but yeah, if you also want to see, we've got Feraligatr that has some much more historically significant ties to like France and Kalos, hopefully, and it also had a unique typing that I think made some sense for it. But yeah, I think it's really fun doing this stuff, and like I said, we don't know for sure if they're gonna get a regional variant or like a mega, or, you know, wishful thinking is both, but that may not happen. So we might do megas in the future, but for now, this is that. If you have more ideas on what we can talk about next, or design, or speculate on, let me know. But also, don't forget to subscribe, like the video if you've come this far and stuff. I really appreciate it. Really want to provide content that is, you know, discussion driven more, or inspiring, and getting people, you know, to be creative as well and thinking of these things and whatnot. If you have your own versions or drawings, you can always drop them into the Discord, and that'd be great. I would love to see what other people create. All in all, thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. We will do Meganium, but yeah, that's all for today. Bye bye!